What's up everyone, it's DV and I'm here to give you a bit of a lesson on how the economy works in islands, what's considered a scam versus bad pricing, and how prices change in the game. Before I begin, be sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button if you're new. So many of you know I was creating an alt to prove at one point I can sell items and make more coins than my main account without people knowing who I am or being a YouTuber. However, during that video recording and over the past several months, I've observed that a lot of players just don't understand prices. They don't understand pricing at all. They don't understand how the pricing works in the economy. I see so many comments, oh my gosh, that's the wrong price. Oh, that's overpriced. Oh, this is, oh, that's a scam. And I hate to say it, they look like they don't know what they're talking about. And it's not like I'm 100% right all the time, but I do know pricing. That's one of my advantages. I study prices. So whenever I see these comments, I just feel bad because I feel like they don't really know what they're talking about. So imagine I had a machine like this, right? Maybe I had a slime key. Maybe I set the slime key to like, 20,000. And they came into your island and said, oh my God, you're trying to sell a slime key for 20,000. That's a scam. And they don't realize people are selling these for 100,000. And so what I do as a price guide guy, of course I'm going to go and test this price. So what I did was I tested these prices. You know what? 50,000 wasn't the price. You're not going to sell these slime keys that much at 50,000. You're going to sell some. You will sell a handful, but the magic number is around 30,000 to 40,000. That's when you start seeing the increase and you see the volume coming through. Your resistance point is about 40,000, 50,000. So resistance means you can start seeing you're getting closer and closer to the actual value of an item. If you're trying to sell something, you need to sell, right? So it needs to be just under that resistance point if you want to maximize your profits, or if you really want to push a lot of items. Maybe you have a ton of these. So let's see, how many do I have right now? I have 212. Yeah, I have too many of these. So of course I'm going to sell these probably a little less to clear my inventory out. But once I start getting to this point of gold, look at my gold. My gold, if I know I can sell this gold for about 10,000 to 12,000 piece. I'm going to get people complaining and whining and crying that my gold is being sold for 12,000, but I only have 8. I need more, right? I can't get enough of this. I sell out of gold faster than I can buy it. So of course I'm going to increase my price. Yeah, to a point that's maybe unreasonable. 12,000 is a very unreasonable price to me. But if I don't have a lot of it, I'm gonna increase my price because I don't really need to get rid of it yet, right? Then now if I'm sitting on 100 to 200 pieces of gold, you're gonna see that price start going down again. So that's how pricing strategies typically work in this game. If you have something that you don't really want to clear out. So for example, crystallized aquamarine, I don't want to sell these. So I'm gonna set it as high as possible to see if someone's gonna buy it. So if I set it at 8 million and someone's gonna come in and buy it, that's your price. That's your price. People are buying it at 8 million. Great. So, because no one has the magic number, everyone. No one has the magic number of what things are worth in this game. Who knows the price is volume. You have to test a lot of players. And if there's enough demand on an item, that's the price. If someone's willing to spend 100 million right now on crystallized aquamarine, guess what? That's the price. Horrible to say, but it is the price that you need to set it at. Now, if it's not selling at 100 million and people know they can get it elsewhere cheaper, then that's how the economy works, right? That's like if you go into a store and they're selling milk for like 10 bucks, are you going to buy $10 milk from them? No, you're going to go to a different store. You're not going to call them a scammer. It's just a really expensive store. So having said that, let's talk about what a scam is. In real life, if you go into a store and say they have a candy bar priced at like $1,000, right? So it's $1,000 candy bar and no one's near it. It's simply on the shelf at that price. What do? Probably gonna say, oh my gosh, this place is way too expensive. You're gonna walk out. Hopefully you're gonna do that. But now with that same exact scenario, imagine there's a sales clerk standing there with that candy bar and tells you, hey man, I see you're looking at this candy bar and you're probably wondering about this price. This price, it's $1,000, but you have to understand something. A famous person named, whatever, maybe someone they used to own this candy bar and it was the only one ever made, and it's going to be worth 1 million. It's going to be worth millions one day. You should be responding with, dude, that's a scam. That's not. Because clearly they're scam. They're trying to convince you to buy something that's not worth $1,000. You have to understand what a scam is versus something that's overpriced. You can't call an overpriced item a scam. So I can guarantee you every single one of these stores that I go to is going to have bad prices. So not a single person in this game has correct prices. I've never seen a single person have agreeable prices. I don't think anyone's ever going to agree with prices. All right, here's a vending. Let's see what they've got things at priced. So they're buying, right? They're buying regen potions at 1,000. These are worth about 15,000 to 20,000 right now on the Discord. Would you call this a scam? No, I just see these people just trying to make some money. So 1,000 for scorpion, so 10,000 for scorp scales. That's actually a decent price. It's actually about 8,000 right now. So they're making a profit. This is worth more than this. So this is actually worth about 250. This is about worth 100,000. So, you have to know your prices, but I'm not going to call them scammers. They're not a scammer. Look at this $300,000 bow. Well, these are worth about 150,000 to me. Is that a scammer? No, because look they're selling something that's going for 500,000 on the Discord. People don't know their prices. Like that's the #1 issue here in this game, is they don't really know what things are worth. I wouldn't call this person a scammer just because their prices aren't agreeable. And they're taking the, they were taking the risk, right? They probably bought a bunch from some people. So this person has, they're selling, so you can sell gold to them for 4,000. You can tell right now, if you think gold sells for 4,000, they're making 4,000 off of this. They're selling it for 8,000 probably, and they're buying berry seeds at 4,000 less than it's worth. They're buying crystallized gold half of what's worth. They're buying crystallized iron at 100,000. Crystallized iron's about 200,000 now. Buying these at 150,000 less than it's worth. They're buying these for 300,000 less than it's worth. 100,000 less than it's worth. So you need to know your prices really, really fast. They're buying crystallized aquamarine now. Okay, so this is a debate. This is worth about 4 to 5 million, and they're buying it at 1.5 million coins. Of course, I'm not going to call that a scam. I'm just saying that's them being, they're trying to make a profit. They're trying to make a profit. I think that's great, and I think they should. This is how trading works. These blue stickies are worth about 20,000 right now. They did drop in value. These are worth about 5 to 6,000 now. They're buying pink stickies at 230,000. Those are worth about 300 plus. These are worth about 60,000 now. So they know their prices. This is worth about 550,000 now. So they know their prices pretty well. That's why they're making a profit here. So you're gonna find so many vendors, especially on popular servers lists, underpricing items because they're only reselling them, right? So in some cases, they're going to underprice items that are dropping in value so that they don't get stuck with it. So if they don't know what the price is or they don't know where it's going to go, then they might underprice it. That's another strategy here, is they may underprice it because they don't know what it's going to be worth soon. Now, as a reseller, you might get stuck with items. So this is why you need to have that big padding between what you buy things in bulk at, and especially if you know that they're dropping in price. So spellbooks are falling in price constantly because there's a lot more being made, right? So many people selling spell pages right now, and you can see the spell pages are only going for about 600,000 max. Usually you'll find spell pages for about 500,000, 400,000 to 500,000 is what I keep seeing on vending machines. So knowing that, if it's only going to cost me 1.5 million to make a spell book, why would I price buying a spell book off of you for 2.5 million? I would just go make them myself. So that's why you got to be really careful. The pricing strategies are such an intricate thing to do. Like, it's not as easy as anyone thinks. It's so going into someone's store, you don't really want to be judgy. I wouldn't judge their store at all. Now, if an island owner sat there and convinced you that you were, overpaying for an item, or did a last minute price swap, or they switched buy sell mode swap on you while you were trying to buy something, or maybe they try to confuse you with too many zeros and too few zeros. So instead of you buying a sticky gear for say 6,000, you paid 60,000 for a sticky gear, things like that. Then yeah, they're kind of a scammer because they're messing with the zeros, and the game doesn't format the zeros correctly enough for you to be able to easily see that something's a million or not. Once there's too many zeros on there, you get really confused fast. I've messed up once where I spent an extra, I think I spent like 15 million on a gilded steel hammer once. I spent 15 million instead of 1.5 million, which was a horrible mistake. So you got to be careful of this extra zero scam. Now let's talk about inflation and deflation, which is an economic term. Some of you already know it. Many of you do not though. So let me explain a little bit about inflation. So inflation is what happens on a price of an item when something else rises. Something else causes that item's price to rise. So let's go back to my island real quick and I'm going to show you what I mean. So in order to make, say, a aquamarine sword, you need 2 pearls and a bunch of aquamarine shards. Shards were going for about 1,000 a piece. Actually, they were going for much more than that. I think they were going for like 10,000 and they kept dropping and dropping. Now aquamarine shards are about 500 a piece. Sometimes you'll see them at 600. It doesn't really matter. You'll still see them at 1,000 too. They're not worth 1,000 anymore because they're super easy to get. But say so you need 200 of these. Say they were worth 500 each now. So it costs you 100,000 to make this. And then the pearls went up in value for a while. They went up from 30,000 and they jumped, I think, to 60 to 70. Sometimes you'll find them for 80. So if these are going for 500 and pearls now are going for 80,000, that's 160 plus 100,000. That's 260,000 is your cost for making these swords. So what happens? Well, the cost of the sword is going to go down, right? Because it used to be worth 600,000. This is called deflation, right? Now, inflation is the opposite. Inflation is the opposite. So let me show you what inflation is. A good example would be the gilded steel hammer. Buffalo core crystals used to go for around 300,000 and they kept going up and up and up and up. Now they're worth about 700,000. So gilded steel rods require gold, right? And if you remember, conveyors kind of went up in value because they started moving, so it was a little harder to find steel rods, but you could make these pretty easily. So let's just say that there's no cost to making a steel rod, just to remove this piece because it's so easy to make this. Now gold does cost about, it's going up to about 6,000 to 8,000 a piece. So let's say, 8,000 times 20, that's going to be about 160,000. So 160,000 times 5 is 800,000 right there. So this right here is 800,000 plus 700,000. That's 1.5 million. Plus you need another 40 gold, which is another 320,000. So all in all, you're looking at about a 1.8 million cost to this, only if you traded for the materials. Now, many people don't trade for these materials, right? Let's just say the cost of gold is 5,000. Instead of what I just said, let's do that. So 5,000 times 20 is obviously 100,000. And then we need 5 of those. So it's 500,000 plus another 40 gold. So we're at 700,000 for the cost of this. Then we know Buffalo core crystal is going for 700,000 right now. This item is worth more than 1.4 million. That is inflation. This price shouldn't be, this hammer shouldn't be worth 1.4 million right now, but it is. I actually sell these for 1.5 million right now. I think that's my price guide. So, you do have to mark it up a little bit for labor because I actually went and took the effort to make this. I made these, I did all the work. So of course I should be able to, make a profit off of the materials that I spent on. So you're going to usually see these for about 1.5, 1.6 million. You might even see these for 2 million and that's okay. But are they worth that? No, not really. But it is called inflation. That is a lesson in inflation, is when something goes up in value. It doesn't always have to go down. It can go up because these inflated the price. So why does gold go up then? Well, because supply and demand, right? There's not enough supply. There's not enough people going to Buffalo Core Island and farming and smelting gold because it's a hard thing to do. It's not like iron. Iron pretty much stays steady because, you got totems, you got smelters. There's not really a limit there. But people going to Buffalo Core Island, they don't really like doing the manual labor. Manual labor means prices can go up often, especially if it's hard. Now, if they introduced a gold totem, if they ever did that, then yeah, all this value is it's gonna deflate everything, right? So everything's gonna deflate if they added gold totems because everything gilded steel is gonna go down in price. Everything's going to deflate, right? Except for maybe Buffalo Core, because Buffalo Core is going to still be a requirement. So Buffalo Core will probably go up in price for a little bit because everyone's going to be making stuff that requires it because they have so much gold now, right? So if they were to ever add gold totems, that would happen. Now we saw that happen also with the smelters. If you remember, smelters were worth only like 60,000 coins. Remember that day? Remember when they were only worth 60,000 and people were dropping stacks? Well, that was caused by duping, but duping didn't really go away in this game. So, that's not really the reason. It really comes down to the fact that pink sticky gears are so hard to grind, right? Pink sticky gears are a big pain to grind. No one wants to grind them. So of course they're going to go up in value and everything got inflated because of that. Now smelters going for about $1 million a piece. So now what happens when you don't know the price of something? How do you find the price? That is always an adventure for me as someone that maintains a price guide, on 4 islands. My price guide gets thousands upon thousands of views per day. So I have a lot of weight on my shoulders to make sure things are priced correctly. And with the recent update, I had to test out a lot of prices on my alt. I didn't know what things were worth. All I saw were things that people were listing on Discord. They don't know the prices either. Just because someone's listing things on Discord doesn't mean they know the prices. No one knows that. But what you do need to do is you need to test prices. You always start higher. Whenever you're testing prices, you need to always start high and then keep going down after you've tested the prices. If people aren't buying your item, and that's what we call a resistance point. So there's a resistance point where people stop buying items from you, right? So if you're not selling things, for example, this person's not going to sell their aquamarine sword because it's too expensive. That's how you do it. You lower the price and you test your prices. That's how you identify what people are willing to spend on something. And craftable items are always going to be easier because people need them right away. They're impatient. But things like, furniture, things like that you don't really need that are just more luxury or rare drops or collectibles are going to be a little harder to mess with on pricing. Again, if you don't like someone's price, just move on. Or you can make an offer for something else. Say like, hey, would you be willing to sell this for, I see your vending machine here for 500,000. Would you be willing to sell it for me for 400,000? They might say no if they bought that vending machine for 350,000 or 400,000. Maybe they bought it for more and they're trying to make their money back. Or say like if maybe they spent 5 million on a spell book and they have it priced at 5 million still because they're really they're hoping someone's going to come by and save the day for them that really wants a spell book. That's fine. They might decline your offer for 2.5 million because they overspent on their spell book. That's not a scam. They're waiting for someone that's really impatient that's been looking for a spell book forever. And there are people like that in this game that have been looking for a spell book forever and are willing to spend the 5 million because they're tired of looking for them. That's this whole thing about impulse buyers. Impulse buyers, especially that's why people people go to Best Buy. That's why people go to like different stores that, you know, overcharge instead of going to the internet for cheaper prices. Because yeah, you can go to Walmart to get that for cheaper. You can get something cheaper on Amazon. You're in the store right then. Of course, you're going to overspend because it's convenient, right? They're there. They're trying to make, you know, some profit. So you need to understand, just because it's not your price, just because you can't afford their price, it doesn't mean they're a scammer. So hopefully this video will equip you with a better understanding of how pricing works in the game and how to price your items, especially when you don't know what something is currently worth, or you've been stuck with that item that used to be worth 500,000 and people are yelling at you because it dropped to 400,000 and you just haven't been keeping up with, you know, you might have not have been keeping up with prices. Information on pricing last week doesn't always match up to today's. So just because, like I said, if coal or gold or wood was going for something last week, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to still be that price today. So you need to keep up with your prices. Coming up in the next video that I'll be posting soon here, I'll be showing you my alt reaching 220 million coins in under a day. It won't be an hour long this time. Of course, I had a little bit of opportunity because an update came out, but it also hurt me because I ended up losing a lot of coins on my alt because I did some bad trades. But I also made up a little bit. And then, of course, you know, my number one cash cow was vending machines, and I've already let Dev know that vending machines probably need to be a little easier for people to get. I don't know if they're gonna do anything about that, but vending machines are right now currently way too overpriced. These are worth too much right now. People are buying these for 400,000 a piece. It's one of the most essential items in the game, yet it's overpriced, which is a big problem to me. It's just too much. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.